Hello and welcome to another episode of the FPL Hangover podcast where we raise the bar and are doing all things FPL related. We are coming to you on the 15th of February. We are just starting as Arsenal and Man City kick off the last match of double game week 23. And we bring to you the first edition of FPL Hangover on the road. I'm joined here this evening with my travelling companion and podcast partner in crime, Paddy. How are you getting on, my friend?
I'm getting on great, Ger. I would like to say hello to all the listeners and to the millions and millions watching at home on YouTube. I am down here in Castlebar in Mayo, recording here on my phone, which is actually, we're quite impressed with it, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm very impressed. I was a bit nervous. I mean, we spoke last week on the difficulties we've been facing, kind of maybe getting a pod out with your new kind of traveling position at work, and this is our first time trying the mobile setup, and yeah, fucking camera's good. Hopefully the sound is coming through nice and clear for everyone at home, and if it's not, well, fuck all we can do about it now. So
exactly. Just one wee thing about the phone is I can't actually look at my FPL team on my phone.
You can't, but you have found a very intriguing way around this. Yeah, and
this is the first ever.
I would say this could be the first ever FPL podcast with virtual reality team building going on.
We're like ahead of the curve.
Yeah. If those watching on YouTube are wondering what's on Paddy's head, and I'm sure the audio listeners are going, what the hell are these guys going on about? No, it's a pair of virtual reality goggles or headsets. I don't know what the lingo is, but
it is actually the Meta Quest 2 by Oculus.
What's a Meta Quest?
That's what it's called, the Meta Quest 2 by Oculus.
Okay, yeah. Well, it looks like an expensive piece of kit, and you're using it tonight to browse fantasypremierleague.com.
I've got there's a browser on it now. I've got my team up on it so I can have a wee look at it.
All right. Well, with that in mind, why don't you stick down the headset, go into the dark reaches of the World Wide Web there, and tell us how you got on in game week 23.
Right. So I am currently on 52 points. The average is 42, but I know you're going to tell me the average of the top 10k is like 60. But
do I usually say that, Paddy?
No, but the average isn't usually that average that we're worried about, is it?
I wouldn't even worry about an average until after tonight's fixtures.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, just giving the updates. So Kepa 2 points. Luke Shaw, what a hero, 12 points for me. Trippier 2. I've got White, who I hear isn't playing tonight.
Yes. Bit of a bummer for those who went with the Arsenal defender, but it was always a risk, and
I've had him in my team anyway, so it wasn't something I was bringing in or getting rid of for this game week. I have Saka, who was my transfer in this week. I done Almiron to Saka, and of course, what did Almiron go and do?
He went off and got a lovely double-digit return, I believe.
The wanker. I've got Rashford, who's just on fine form, 8 points. I have Martinelli, the man who was sold left, right, and centre, -4, sideways moves to Saka, sideways moves to Odegaard, and I got a wee bit of shit for defending my decision to keep Martinelli, but Ger, you're with me.
Yeah, we both kept Martinelli. There was, I think you're right. Like, I did see a lot of people justifying, like, as you said, as you put it, like a sideways move to Saka or an Odegaard. And I mean, a sideways move in itself, okay, fair enough. But there was also quite a few -4s involved, and to me, it just didn't seem worth the risk.
Yeah.
Like, not with one of the matches being Man City, where I would expect Arsenal to struggle. Like, it'll be a tight game.
Yeah, so I'm secretly kind of hoping for some points in this game.
Yeah.
Obviously, I would like a draw in the actual football match. I've held on to De Bruyne. I've held him this long. He's there, and I only had one transfer, Ger, and I wasn't going to get rid of a double game week player. Moving up top, Harry Kane still in there. Got me 2 points. My captain, Haaland, we all got a scare in the last match. When he was taken off at half-time, but he's playing tonight. And then, big Weghorst, huh?
You got your return. You got
I
your
got me
return.
I got my return from him, so I was delighted with that 5 pointer. And then looking at my bench, I've got Andreas, who is my second sub, buried in there, going nowhere. But you know what? 52 points. Who knows what I could end up with after tonight's game? Should be a decent enough score. I think it'll be a green arrow anyway, Jer. I'm on a green at the moment, so
Yeah, it'll depend. I think like if the Arsenal players that you like, for example, don't have like an Odegaard, if he goes mental, like that'll be a big blow.
yeah.
But I do think you have a lot of the bases covered tonight with the 5 players. So I mean, I'm the same as yourself in terms of the 3 Arsenal players, except I've gone Odegaard instead of Saka. Primarily, I was just dealing with the news of the double game week and the announcement that happened pretty much just after we finished recording last week. So essentially, game week 25 turning into a double for Liverpool and Everton, and it was all Arsenal are doubling in 25, Everton 25, Liverpool 25, Wolves. I can't remember who the 2 originally added to it were, but or the Wolves and Liverpool thing was that's kind of thrown a bit of a spanner in the works in terms of how we move going forward. But
Yeah.
that's
Well,
why I went with Odegaard, was just kind of with the idea that I might be looking to invest in Liverpool. But before I go too far into game week 24,
how
I
did you get
might
on? How many points did you get?
not as well as yourself this week so far on 46. I also kind of got the Luke Shaw haul, which I mean, considering how United played, I think they're lucky to come away with a clean sheet. But I think that's why you have the likes of a Shaw in your team, is the attacking potential and the fact that a team like Man United can always keep a clean sheet, and they've been pretty decent at the back. So no big shock. But on the day, I don't think the Shaw really deserved that clean sheet. But massive haul, 12 points. He was sitting on a lot of benches.
Yeah.
A lot of people kind of maybe have a bit of hope after that City kind of rotation on Sunday. So we'll see how tonight panned out for them. I know Ake started, so that would have ruled out any kind of subs, but I believe he actually even came on in the last match, so that was already cancelling it out. I think it's the Rico Lewis move, basically. Anyone who started a Rico Lewis over the likes of a Luke Shaw, they'll have been watching that team lineup pretty closely tonight, and they'll be happy and hoping he stays on the bench.
You have
But
a beefy midfield there. I'm just looking at
I have a what?
a beefy midfield there. You're 5 in the midfield.
Yeah, see, I've the main thing between your team and my own team is the fact that I just don't have Kane right now.
Yeah.
So you've put a lot of money in Kane. I'm still sitting with Fernandes and De Bruyne in the middle, with obviously Martinelli, Odegaard, and Rashford. So no Kane. I have a load of money in the bank. I need to figure out what the hell we're gonna do going forward. Have you had a look towards the future at all, Paddy? Game weeks 25 and beyond.
No, not really. But I have a like I do know there's a double for Liverpool in game week 25. Yeah.
Yep, there is. Yeah.
And that could be I'll probably hold De Bruyne up until then.
Well, that's kind of, we're probably jumping a little bit ahead, but tonight's going to be a short, snappy pod because I think we both want to get off and catch the second half of this City Arsenal game. But that's going to be the big kind of question: is 24. Like, it feels to me like almost in every situation you should be rolling a transfer this week.
Yeah.
Like, I can't see too many fixtures that you would want to target specifically. And I mean, if you're aiming for 25, like, yeah, sure, you could, like a lot of us, as you said, you're holding on to De Bruyne. I'm sure your plan then for 25 is De Bruyne to Salah.
Yes.
As will, a lot of people. I have the option of doing either Fernandes or De Bruyne to Salah, so I'll wait and see. But City have a really nice fixture in 25 as well.
Exactly, and they have a nice one. We're just looking at like the Arsenal and City games, like or players. I'm not going to be getting rid of any Arsenal players when they're playing Aston Villa, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be getting rid of any City players when they're playing Nottingham Forest. I know De Bruyne has been probably sold already since Salah scored that goal. That would be the easiest way over, or he might have been sold, or Mahrez might have been brought in from even some of the double. But looking at those two fixtures of my big teams, Arsenal players will be going nowhere and City players will be going nowhere. I'm looking at I'll probably be looking maybe to get rid of Weghorst at some stage. But again, I'll probably just bank the transfer this week. United have got Leicester, and I'll see how that goes.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. As I said, I think there's going to be hard pressed to justify a transfer this week, unless there's a
Mm.
fire in your team. Simple as that. Unless there's like, I don't know, you're still sitting on a Cancelo or something like that. Of course, there are moves that you can justify in preparation for the likes of 25. But game week 24, I'm pretty happy to just to roll it on and see what way it
Yeah,
goes. Are you like? I think like I suppose. Have you looked at all at the chip strategies? Like it is that time of the year.
yeah, it is chip strategy at time. I haven't looked too closely yet, Jer.
Yeah.
I do know that there's a lot of stuff happening coming up near 28 and in the 30s, isn't there?
Well,
Around the early 30s.
yeah. I mean, like we've also had Game Week 27 announced. I'm pretty sure Game Week 28 is gonna like we have the quarterfinal fixtures to be rearranged after the FA
Yeah,
Cup next round. So that's gonna wreak havoc with blanks and stuff. I think 28 is the expected blank and 32 is the expected blank. But
exactly. So at the minute, Jer, I'm letting everything just simmer. I know it's coming,
yeah,
but I'm not panicking about chip strategy just yet until all the chess pieces on the board become more clear. My concern at the minute now is just looking as far as 25 and what kind of plan I'm going to go with there because thankfully I'm starting to get a few green arrows. Like I have a good feeling. I'm confident I might get a green this week. I had a green last week, and I want to. I'm gonna bank me transfers here
okay.
for 2025 for 24. I was looking in the virtual reality world there, and my team I think is solid going into that.
Is there any special features of the virtual reality world that can you go into the future and
Yeah, you can go in a
maybe
little bit
just
and see things that other podcasts wouldn't be able to see. So that's another reason to like and subscribe and rate us on Spotify and Apple. Isn't that right, Jer?
it is indeed. You smashed it. But like looking at 25, like you're saying like, oh, I'm focusing on 25, but there'll be people out there looking to use a chip in 25. Like that's and I know we've skipped 24 and it's the Game Week 24 preview, but as we already said, like this is pretty much a hold the line kind of game week where you just want to see it out and
Mm-hmm.
get to that double with, especially with two free transfers, the potential for a little mini wild card for yourself, taking -4, attack the double game week. But there will be people looking to use a chip.
Yeah, there will. I get maybe people that have held on to their that kind of weren't sure to put the triple captaincy on Rashford,
Mm,
there, and they thought then, oh, I don't know about this City fixture; it's not juicy enough. There might be a few of those holders, like because I mean, for me, there was probably quite a few triple captainships used this week, but I never we spoke about it in a previous pod. I was never really found this an attractive triple game week for Haaland, and Jesus, I might jinx the whole fucking thing here now. He might come out and bang a hat trick, and if he does,
well, I mean, like let's be fair. Like going back to Game Week 23, if that penalty had gone the way it should have gone, and that would be to Haaland. Now I'm
yeah,
not sure why it didn't happen. From what I've read, Pep says Haaland is the number one penalty taker,
hmm
so I accept that. That's good news. I don't. I think the fact that maybe he was injured and he didn't want. That's the only logic I can think of is that he was a bit injured and he didn't want
yeah.
to take the penalty. Um,
And then he's
but
whipped off at half time.
if he had scored that, that's a goal and assist. You're taking that all day, especially as he started
Yeah,
his second match. He's just had a near miss there in the 18th minute. I mean, like if he had got that goal and assist and then the 2 appearance points alone from tonight, like you're taking that, you know?
yeah. That's true. That's one way to look at it. But I mean, I was just saying, and I just when I was looking at the two doubles,
Mm.
Rashford being in form and the two fixtures, what was it, Leeds and Palace, or
The United fixtures were Crystal Palace and Leeds. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I just thought they were a bit juicier, man, in form than the City, Brentford, and City and Arsenal.
Yeah, Rashford actually like he's on such form that this week for most he was a bit of a negative for our teams. I mean, he smashed it again. Great header. Seems like something he's really added to his game, and like he was over 100% effective ownership. Like if you're going to play that ball game, obviously as a United
Yeah,
fan, I don't really give a fuck about effective ownership of United players because I'm just happy to see him do well. But
yeah,
yeah, he's so popular right now that he seems to be the kind of the only one that's taken some of those Haaland's armbands away.
Yeah, that's it. So, I mean, there could be more triple captainships used for game week 25. There could be bench boosts and things like that.
You got to
But
imagine
I mean,
they're mainly gone, though, wouldn't you? You think, like, anyone who had left that didn't use on Rashford or on the Haaland double game week previous to that they were saving it for this game week, you'd imagine, no?
yeah. I can't imagine there'd be many triple captains left, but there might be a couple of free hits maybe thrown in there for 25 and stuff like that. So
yeah, exactly. There will be a few free hits. I mean, you talked about different styles and approaches to 25. Like anyone that's loaded up on Brentford and Brighton at the moment. So I've seen a few teams. You know, obviously Brighton have got a bit of interest with the likes of Mitoma. They're really affordable defense. Brentford, same situation. Tony is a bit of an FPL darling. Delivered a lovely 9-point haul this week, which I saw on more benches than I did in actual live teams. I also saw he was a massive transfer out for this game week as well. So he will be in quite a few teams after, anyway. So anyone that has got kind of heavy on the Brentford and Brighton thing, they might be looking at 25 and thinking free hit. Like, I don't want to get rid of all my players.
Yeah.
Brentford and Brighton have a ridiculously nice run for pretty much, for like 4, 5, 6 game weeks. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, there is a case to be made for it. We aren't set up, I think, to even worry about it because neither of us have either of those teams.
Yeah, I think we're kind of lucky. We'll be able to navigate through these hits. I don't think, because there's no one blanking, or who's blanking? Sorry, in 20. There's blanks. Is there in 25 as well? No, or 24?
Yeah, in 25, well, Brentford and Brighton are the teams blanking.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. If you have them in your team right now,
you'd be struggling,
and you can't really, you'll be struggling. So they're blanking in 24 and 25. Obviously, United and Newcastle have the Carabao Cup final that week, so they're blanking too. So I mean, there'll be people there. Like obviously, a lot of people have United assets after the double. Newcastle, you'll still have at least a Trippier. There could be a Trippier and a Batman like myself. Trippier, fucking Pope, Batman, or Almiron. There's a few Newcastle assets still floating around.
That's why I was kind of getting rid of my Almiron as well for the Arsenal guy, and that's why I'm probably going to get rid of Weghorst, or I'm holding for one more week, then get rid of him. I'm cutting down gradually on these players that aren't going to be playing, but also players that I'm ready to move on anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll struggle for a striker to replace Weghorst in game week 25. Like, I'm looking at the fixtures, and like, obviously Liverpool, as we mentioned, doubling in 25, away to Crystal Palace, home to Wolves. I'm not overly convinced that this Everton win was a turning point for Liverpool. I think Everton were absolutely shocking on the night, and I don't know. I think it could take still a bit of time. So I'm not convinced to go too heavy on him. But if you were to target a team from that double game week out of Arsenal, who we've already loaded up on Arsenal. I mean, Everton, fucking Wolves.
Yeah.
It's
a simple move, really. I'll be just probably doing like a De Bruyne to Salah, or the Bruno owners will probably be doing a Bruno to Salah. I mean, I only really want Salah.
But what do you do with Weghorst then?
Well, I might get rid of Weghorst for Ferguson or something. Just
he's blanking that week.
Yeah, but for going forward, maybe to free up funds.
I get it, but I guess you'll want to attack that double game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you won't want to be using a transfer on a player that's blanking.
Yeah, no, you're right. I probably will. You know what? Maybe Weghorst will just be dropped to the bench, and I'll bring in. Who knows? I might even bring in a Liverpool defender as well. Jesus, or I might even bring in. I could maybe even bring in Salah Nunes.
Well, I mean, that's kind of obviously, I think, would be the dream transfer, in the sense of like the optimum kind of highest ceiling kind of players I would hope for would be the likes of a Salah Nunes. But I'm looking at your team there, and you've got Patterson, Batman, Trippier, and then 3 Uniteds. That's 6 blankers in game week 25.
Yeah.
So if you roll, you're obviously only going to be able to bench 3. You're only going to be able to get rid of 2. You're going to probably take the -4. I suppose you can do a move and switch it to a 3-5-2, which is.
But even if I don't take a -4, I'll have 10 players. Is that correct? Because I can't really see my team.
If you don't take a -4, you will have
And
10
you know
players. Yeah,
what? 10 would be enough with a good captain.
that's true. Yeah, that's true. There's
You know what I
also
mean? Like,
the
go on ahead.
no. I was gonna say there's also like that argument that the right 10. It's about the right 10, not. But I mean,
Uh,
you'll want 11. It's a double game week. You're gonna want
yeah, and you know
11.
what? A hit on a double game week's not a big deal.
Yeah, and I mean, look, you could go Veghorst to yeah. No, I was gonna say Veghorst to Nketiah, but that's kind of
Not a big
you
bug
have
up
the
those
three
two.
Arsenal, and yeah.
Yeah, you
When
know what? It's only another problem then. Probably Jesus will be back soon.
will I tell you that City have just scored, Paddy?
Wow, and who was it?
I don't have it yet. Everyone's crowded around in a big, massive hug. The camera did focus on Tomiyasu, Ben White's replacement, and it indicates to me, I think it was KDB scored.
Wow, that'd be amazing if it was KDB.
Yeah,
Keep talking to me.
I love a bit of KDB action. Ederson, long ball up the field. Shite header by Gabriel. Tomiyasu makes an absolute tit of it, and KDB lobs Ederson from just outside the
Wow.
box. Beautiful
Lob it into
goal.
me, boss. Lob it into me, boss.
Yeah.
Gee, you know what? You've missed your call, and you'd be a great commentator there, you know.
Oh, thank you, Paddy.
I
Thank you.
fucking really enjoyed that, you know, with the shite header and all.
Uh,
You know, that was perfect. So De Bruyne has scored.
De Bruyne has scored. Yeah, it seems.
You know what? I
Obvious.
can't
And it's
even
it's
write.
an actual peach, Paddy. I'm looking at it here. I've seen it for 3 or 4 replays, and he's
But
lobbed Ramsdale from outside the box. Now
I can't
Ramsdale's
even.
obviously
I
come
can't.
rushing out,
Yeah.
and Odegaard
Wow.
has just slapped Tomiyasu
You
in
know
the
what?
face. No.
Fuck White not being playing. It's all good.
Yeah.
You know what? And I can't even write shag me on Twitter
Why?
because I'm
Oh,
using.
because you're on the phone.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're going to have to adapt. I mean, I will give credit where credit is due. You have pulled out quite the recording situation, considering it's just your phone in your fucking
Yeah,
pocket.
but at least we know we can make it work now. So you know, our dedicated listeners will never have to
They'll have to.
suffer a week without an FPL Hangover podcast ever again.
I know. I feel vindicated.
Yeah,
Vindicated, Petty.
yeah.
Game week 24, captain.
Oh well, do I have to pop on my headset again or what? Or
I don't know. I mean, like
oh, okay. So actually, wait there. I know City are playing Nottingham Forest.
they are indeed.
Um,
City
so there.
are away to Forest.
So that's your Hallam captaincy. Arsenal are playing Aston Villa.
Arsenal are away to Villa. Yeah.
Have Villa
Look
tightened
at
up a
you,
bit,
fucking
or
smashing these out, Petty. Without the
uh,
fixture list. Fair play.
yeah? So I mean, that there could be a captaincy there,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's not trumping the City one yet. Who's United are playing Leicester,
Home to
so
Leicester. Yeah.
you know
Rashford's
you could be tempted to stick it on Rashford. There is United at home as well, or are they away?
United are home. Yeah.
On and Rashford is scoring a bag full at home. So those are the
Chelsea
three.
at home to Southampton. Little Veghorst to João
But I mean,
Felix.
who has Chelsea players anymore, and who's bringing them in yet?
Yeah, I know. I can't remember what I was watching today, but I saw someone waxing lyrical about Chelsea's upturn in form.
Probably, yeah.
And I don't know, have I just been asleep for the last couple of weeks? But I don't think drawing at West Ham is an upturn in form.
No.
You know, I mean, yeah, they have a whole new team. It's going to take time to bed. I'm not shitting on them.
By the way, I couldn't believe how much of a new team they have. Like, I mean, if you look at the lineup that they're putting out this last couple of weeks compared to that fucking the half of the season,
yeah,
it's a completely new team. I mean, like
it'd want to be for the amount of fucking money
like
they spent.
fucking FIFA 25.
Yeah, no, it is. It's absolutely mental. And you know what? Like, I'm looking forward to getting some tasty Chelsea action. Do you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
that's
there's players in there at the right prices, but it just doesn't feel the right time yet.
No, I think again, like, I'm probably not doing it justice. There's podcasts out there that have absolutely like delved into the strategies that you should be thinking of going forward. They've laid it out. I listened to, and I'm not, affiliated with anyone, but the Burning Questions, the Fancy Scout, those lads Sinaldo and Praz.
Right.
I wouldn't listen to it every week, just because I wouldn't consume a whole rake of content towards the end of the week. But like when I want to understand the situation and what's coming up, something like that, like a specific kind of focus episode, those guys are like top of the game, and I would recommend checking that out. Just if you were kind of wondering what the hell is going on at the moment. I don't think it's like hands to the pumps situation just yet, because I think like there's going to be, as I said, the next round of FA Cup fixtures. They're going to illuminate like how the end of the season is looking fixture wise, and then you really need to be listening to those kind of episodes, those specific kind of chip strategy episodes. But just to kind of give you an overall view of what people are thinking and what options are open to people, I found it very interesting today. Like I really did.
Right. And can you like regurgitate some of it for us? Me especially.
I don't want to steal anyone's hard work, but like some of the takeaways I took out of it today was that basically after 32 there's no more blanks. So if you think about it, like we're going into game week 24, that's 7 game weeks between 24 and 32 inclusive. 24, 25, 26, 27.
We're in the end game.
We're not quite yet. That's the thing. I think we're just outside the end game.
We're coming into this next wave, like up to 32, right? This is where you will potentially make moves up the ladder.
Yeah.
If you can maneuver it properly. You know, this is where you can win your mini leagues maybe outright with them.
I think you're right. I think it's I think what it does, as you said, like especially when you focus on the likes of mini leagues, is when you get to this stage of the season, you can just your paths, i.e. differential paths or template paths, become very clear. You're like, if you're happy with how you're going and your rank and you want to just tap on, then you're going to stick out a little bit more template. If you know your season is kind of fucked, you're going to start throwing curveballs, you know?
Yeah.
You're going to start going, you know what, this week I will target this team. Like, I mean, I'm looking at that game week 25 and said, if you had the likes of Brighton, and you were already facing that kind of way with your team, I don't think I'd be rewriting history for rewriting everything for 25. I'd be happy to hold on to them, hold on to my Arsenal, hold on to. I'd still start coming off United a little bit, but I mean the likes of a Shaw and a Rashford, I think are perfectly acceptable kind of holes in any team.
Yeah,
Rashford's not going to go anywhere for me. I think he's
there to the end.
Until
he's there.
It's
the same with Kane for me now. Kane's going to be there.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, you know. I mean, but at least Kane is always like that perfect kind of make weight option. If something crazy happened, you know, I've always the likes of those premium players. I never worry about having a premium player in my team because it just gives you a way out. I'm like, if you aren't happy with that premium, you know, you have options to go to pretty much anyone else in the game, you know, that kind of way. And I like that about it. But I think Harry Kane, a lot of owners would have been very disappointed with how he blanked at Leicester. I think that's only like the second or third time he's blanked this year.
Yeah, 3-1-2, they were actually tanked. 4-2, was it, or something? Or 4-1?
I think 4-1, yeah.
I never seen that coming.
Apps. Neither did I. Which I guess is more so because I just didn't expect Leicester to have picked up their game so much, and it feels like they have. Madison's back. Iniacho has gotten an insane amount of points in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, going under the radar, like, but you still don't want to bring them in, you know, that kind of way. So going back to what we're saying, just basically this next wave of games and things there where you can potentially get an extra stride in these players, you know, these players who have just fucked out their fucking bench boost or, you know, early in the season or their wild card or their free hit on a mad week. The casual bastards who have fired the fucking chips all out. This is the time now where the players, the FPL players,
the non-casuals,
fucking hammer the non-casuals into the ground now.
Yeah, the ultras, the FPL ultras.
Yeah, the FPL ultras.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm with you. There is going to be quite a few people that have spunked their chips, but I wonder how much of a correlation there is between early chip users and people that lose interest, you know, 3/4 of the way through the season. You know, kind of way they're like, I can't handle all these fucking blanks and these doubles, and I've used all my chips, and everyone's going to have 15 players doubling now in game week 34, you know, and I'm fucked, and, you know, I'm not playing this anymore. I don't know. But go back to the captaincy, Paddy. You didn't give me a concrete answer.
I think it's going to be Haaland for me. Like, I mean,
you worried about Champions League rotation?
Not really.
Like they're playing, like that the midweek after the this week's fixture. He's played tonight, so I mean, if he did have a bit of a knock, that he managed to nurse him through tonight, and like make him start. He went, look, we need this. This is a big match. You're going to start tonight, but I'll rest you on Saturday against Forest, so you'll be fully fresh for the next round of the Champions League. Like, do you? Because I won't lie, it's freaking me out right now.
Yeah, now that you've fucking told me, you've kind of freaked me out as well. So he doesn't get much of a rest bite between that Champions League game to Nottingham Forest.
He gets fuck all. Like
Yeah.
the Forest match is this weekend.
Okay, so
So like the Forest match, City play
it's
Forest.
on Saturday.
It's on Saturday at 3:00. I think it's the Premier Sports. No, it's not. It's the Everton Leeds match. But Nottingham and City play on Saturday at 3. And then I'm not sure if City are playing on the Tuesday or the Wednesday, but assuming it's the Wednesday, it's still
But
only.
then, yeah. And it's knockout stage in the Champions League, so we can't just go run that narrative. He's a professional football player. Fuck's sake, he can play every game like we did the last time.
Well, I mean, he went off at half time, didn't he? In the Premier League. So I'm like, he had a knock.
Right. So let's say we don't captain Haaland. Who do we captain?
Yeah, I guess that's the $1 million question.
It's between Rashford home to Leicester. I think's the next sexy one. Or do you want to pick a Saka or
away to Villa?
Away to Villa. And I think I would fancy United at home to Leicester. Plus, Rashford's the man in form. So I think that would be the captaincy. And you know what? You could steal a march on people that do go Haaland and Haaland doesn't play.
Yeah, you could. But then he does play and he scores 5 goals against Nottingham Forest and you're going, yep. Obviously, he's going to score 5 goals against Nottingham Forest.
Season over. Many leagues lost.
I guess that's the beauty. If you're going to go against him, it might not be the worst week to do it, considering you can then just start going helter-skelter with the chips. Just being like, all right, season's fucked. Might as well, really free hit.
If the listeners are listening now, what's the advice?
The advice is just stall the ball. Like, unless you're thinking
wait for more information.
Yeah, wait until after the cup, basically. The next round of I think it's round 5 of the FA Cup, and then there's the quarterfinal draw. So basically, you just need to see what way that's gonna affect the fixtures, and then you can go hard into it. Unless you're looking at the likes of a wild card in 27. Do you know the kind of way? Then you can maybe, like, if you really are set on wildcarding in 27 and it's just the way your team is set out, then that's the only other thing I can think of outside of just stall the ball, at least this week. I mean, give yourself 7 days, 12 days, whatever, of enjoying a bit of kind of stress-free thinking, because you shouldn't be doing anything between now and game week 25, I don't think.
No, as it sits at the moment, my bus captain is on Haaland. I'm making no transfers because I need my fucking 2 transfers. You've just called out the state of my team there. Like, I mean, I've got 6 blanks. I need to at least get to 10. I'll probably get to, at least I know I can get to 11 with the -4. You know what I mean? I don't have to use it yet.
I don't think, and there's no shame in -4 in a double game week. You know, it's the rare blank double game week. Where we have some teams blanking and some teams doubling. So I mean, you can get those extra appearance points with the hit.
Doubler, yeah, it's fine. No, so I'm kind of happy enough at where I'm at the minute, and of course that De Bruyne goal will put me on the green so far.
Yeah, no, it is. Before we wrap up, Paddy, now it is mid game week, so I'm hesitant to do the mini league. But I know we won't be obviously doing another show before game week 24. So I will just call out that we have currently got a new number 1. I'm not going to do the top 10 because that could change.
Is he back?
But if you remember, he's back. He's back. Seedlick is back in top.
Back where he belongs.
He's currently on a 67, so he's one of the Maras owners. He was on a nice 67 with a -4, I might add, but that's taken him ahead of second place Shapska Salah, who had kind of gained top spot last week. So interesting kind of back and forth going up there. So fair play to Emil. He's back on top. I think he'll probably stay there this week. But they're kind of slowly pulling away now. Emil?
Yeah.
I feel like I did look at this at one stage. He's English. Well, he's got an English flag, I think, beside his name.
We're second place.
We won't hold that against him. Second place also has an English name, Craig Rayner.
Oh,
Yeah, so he's definitely English. But yeah, so they're battling it up there and enjoying that.
excellent, excellent. Very good.
All right, Paddy, where can everyone find you?
You can find me at FPL Viking underscore on Twitter. You can get me on the Viking Dippers on Instagram. And you can get me at the Cafe Fella on TikTok.
The Cafe Fella, that's your new one. Yeah, make sure to give all of those a check out.
And where can we find the podcast, Ger?
If you would like to find the podcast, you can reach us on Twitter at FPL Hangover. Sorry, I think Arsenal.
What?
Oh, the ball just crossed the line, but I think the ref has given a goal kick. And if you were to go by any of the rules last week, he should have yellow carded about 15 players there because he's got 6 or 7 City guys screaming at him. I don't know what he's after doing. It's a crazy end to the pod, Paddy. I'm sorry for keeping it. Nketiah breaking through into the box, ball over the top. Ederson comes out like a fucking gobshite. Ball's about to go in, cleared off the line by Ake Bernardo Silva, but I think he's given a penalty to Arsenal. I think Ederson has just cleaned out Nketiah.
Stay on here, because I need to know the scores.
Yes, so we will. This is an exclusive for anyone made it this far in the podcast. If you made it this far, surely a like and subscribe is justified, even if it's just sarcastically.
And rate the podcast, please. 5 stars on Spotify and Apple or wherever you're fucking doing it, because that really helps, doesn't it?
It does. He has given a penalty. Odegaard holding the ball, but I feel like it's a cheeky, decoy move, and he'll hand it to Saka when the time is right. But Odegaard has the ball in his hands, and he's standing over the penalty spot.
Diaz. Saka.
What?
Tell him to give it to Saka.
Saka is standing a little off centre, so I'm assuming this is the classic. We don't want you screaming abuse in Saka's face. He's handed it to Saka. Saka's about to step up, and we're going to see if the Saka owners, which you are one of, is.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
I'm not. I decided to go Odegaard, and this will be an assist.
You had a
Paddy. You're fuck on camera.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm still here though.
You are still there, and this is worth it. Ederson now could get a penalty save here. Maybe Saka does a Euros on it and absolutely makes it balls a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
For any of you staying with us all the way to the end, fair play to you. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to edit this out. I probably won't.
No, I don't. I know they've already know what happens, but it's raw emotion.
It is raw. Ederson's flipping side to side. He's pointing right. He's pointing to his right. Saka hasn't looked up from the ball. He steps up, scratches the nose a little bit. Referee's walked over to him now, pointed at the ball and said, "You know that's what you're kicking, right?" And walked away.
Okay.
He's
so does he know it's the ball he's kicking?
I think he does. Saka's done a few steps, and he's put it away. 1-1.
Well, we'll take that. That's you. Odegaard owners mudded.
Mudded for now. Nketiah owners laughing, and Saka owners laughing. It's not over yet. There's plenty of minutes left in this. City clean sheets wiped out. Thanks everyone for staying with us. If you managed to stay all the way to the end, if you do like us, like what you hear, to FPL Hangover. Paddy, it's been a pleasure. I shall chat to you later. Best of luck.
I'm going to jump into me fucking nice cozy hotel bed here now. I can't watch the Premier League, but I'll watch the Champions League, Dortmund and Chelsea. So that's what I'll do now.
Boom, brilliant. All right, kid, enjoy your night, and best of luck in Game Week 24.
See y'all later.
God bless.